I'm Lori Clairhout at loriclairhout.com, and I'm talking to Kimmy Beach from kimmybeach.com.
Hi, Lori.
Hey! So good
How
to
are you
see you.
doing? So good to see you too.
Great. Yeah. Kimmy and I met like a while ago, a few years ago, when we were both doing our degrees in English, and I fell in love with
A few years ago? 22 years ago, my darling.
something like that, give or take, when we were like
Yeah.
8.
Sorry, I totally
When
did you
we were
care?
like 7 years old, and we were in that Canadian lit class, um, where I had
I
the
do
high.
have some recollection of that.
Do you remember? I had the high pony like every single day,
Oh, I totally
and
do.
you had all the corkscrews.
I had the
All the
corkscrews.
corkscrew
Yeah,
curls.
I had the spirals back then.
So Kimmy and I are reminiscing, and here to talk about whims. So let's just jump right in.
Sure.
What would a whim look like to you, Kimmy?
I've been thinking about this
Mm-hmm.
since I saw your last video, and to me, a whim is a feeling of intuition or an instinct that I have. I don't feel that it comes from outside of me. I don't feel like there's anything guiding me or
Mm-hmm.
supporting me that's outside of me. I don't mean people. There's lots of people that support me,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that I'm here for a specific purpose. I think I'm supposed to find that out myself.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that I feel intuitively or instinctively, I think it comes from me. And so what you would call a whim, I would agree with that, but I would use the word instinct or intuition to say the same thing, because I feel that there's a kind of an impermanence in the word whim almost,
Mm-hmm.
that it can possibly be just passing if you don't notice it going by.
Mm-hmm.
But an instinct or an intuition to me is a more longer lasting phenomenon, I guess,
Uh-huh.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. So what would a moment of intuition like that look like for you? And I'll have I'll give a backgrounder, because I have 4 of Kimmy's books in front of me.
What, those old things?
These old things, and this brand new thing that isn't quite so brand new, but it's actually
Oh,
in publication right now. But lucky me, have a manuscript.
yes, you
And
do.
yeah, and how I feel a little bit about your books is that they each are almost like a distinct following of an idea, of a very specific idea. The Jimmy Cagney book, the Fake Paul. I see you going down a path,
Hmm.
and I have a curiosity about whether that's intuition. But you tell me, what does an intuition look like for you?
In terms of my writing,
Mm-hmm.
I learned really early on not to ignore what was obsessing me or what I was thinking about all the time. So if for some reason I found myself watching James Cagney movies for no reason that I mean, he was cute, but
Yes.
it seemed a very odd thing for, I guess I was 30 when I started writing that book,
Mm-hmm.
for me to be watching this old movie star who'd already been dead for 20 years, whatever what. So I thought, what is this? But I wasn't a writer yet, so I didn't understand that it was,
Oh, you weren't a writer yet.
well,
Okay,
I was,
sorry. Carry on.
no, it's okay. It's just that I wasn't, what I mean is I wasn't aware yet that something I was writing or something I was noticing a lot of, I should be noticing more and writing about it. I know that now, so that when I found myself writing my last book, Bond, I knew from all this experience past that the minute something is engulfing me that much, that's clearly what I'm supposed to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say I'm supposed to do something, I don't mean something's telling me from outside. Again, it's clearly inside me.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know exactly how to follow that. That whatever the obsession or what I find myself most drawn to is what I'm supposed to be doing, is what I'm going to do next.
So
Yeah, so that was a learned response
Mm-hmm.
to instinct.
And where's it at today?
What do you mean?
Where are you headed? What is the thing you're supposed to be doing next, or what are you doing? If you'd like to talk about that, your current
Yeah, sure.
intuition in action.
Sure. I've written a novella about a giant puppet, which I'm sure most of your viewers will have seen because I'm totally obsessed. So that's done, hopefully.
Oh.
And then I've found myself watching a lot of Tom Jones videos from the 60s. And my husband and I were watching a couple of these episodes, and it's Tom and Tony Bennett, and Tony Bennett's there. let's sing something, Tom. You know, it was fantastic booze and bad velour and all that.
Uh-huh.
And we watched 3 or 4 episodes of this together, and Stu turned to me and said, "You're writing in your head right now, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I kind of am."
Yeah.
But I grew up on romance comics in the 1970s. My sister and my cousin and I have written about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, why can't those two things go together? They're sort of the same time frame. So it's very, it's still embryonic at the moment. But I know from my past experience that I have to listen to it.
Yes.
I can't not listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think where it is today in terms of my writing.
Mm-hmm.
That intuition is like, okay, why am I watching Tom sing "What's New Pussycat" 40 times in a row? Why am I watching this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something will come. I don't know what yet, but
it sounds like you've gotten a bit better at listening to that, or listening and in acting.
Yeah, I think I think it's a learned response.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we grow up going, oh, you know, there's that great old analogy about deer in the forest and they're feeding. Deer never perk their ears up and then go, oh, it's probably nothing, and then start grazing again. They get the hell out of there. But we don't do that. It's an instinct that I first read about in a book called The Gift of Fear.
Oh, I remember that book. You told me about that book.
Yeah. Basically, the thesis was that we're the only species who goes, oh, it's probably nothing. I'm sure there's no danger, or I can't go this way because something might go wrong.
Yes.
You know, and so giving up that not listening was really helpful for me. And in the new book I was writing a piece about a friend and I who sit in my dining room or my living room and watch Casino Royale over and over. And as I'm typing, James Bond walked in the room and I went, no, that doesn't. And then I said, no, wait, just let him come in, see what he has to say. Like,
see what happens.
And it opened up the whole book. So I listened to that. So I really do think it's learned. I don't think, you know, we're ever told, by the way, if you have this really strong impulse, follow it.
That's right.
Even if it's scary or dangerous or you're quitting your job or whatever it is, right?
Yes.
We're not told that.
Absolutely.
So we have to learn that.
Ah, the wisdom.
Well, it's because I'm old, too. That helps.
It's because you're old.
I am.
With age comes wisdom.
I like to think that.
I love it. Yeah. And I actually read somewhere once something about you. I'm going to quote it.
Okay.
It refers to a note that maybe you have next to your computer, maybe you have in your office, maybe you did at one point, that says, Kimmy, you can write whatever the hell you want. Love, Kimmy.
It does indeed still hang there.
I love it.
Right next to a sign that says, stop asking permission for everything.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I just got the little chills, so that means that I need to write this for myself and put it like right there so that I can see it every day.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing. I was a permission seeker my entire life. Mm-hmm. And it translated into things like applying for jobs that I knew I was never going to get because there was so much competition. Mm-hmm. It translated into me running every single word I wrote by some people or every decision. You shouldn't do that. You're bat crazy. Did you even think about that? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I better not do it then, you know. Mm-hmm. Screw it.
Yeah.
Now I just, so permission for me is tied in with what you're calling whim or intuition in terms of this thing feels right. Mm-hmm. But if I ask a bunch of people if it's right, I'm gonna get this broad spectrum of opinions.
Yes.
Most of which are going to be of no use to me. So why am I asking?
That's right. And sometimes that thing happens where people aren't so into it as you are, and they're like, right. You're crazy. Do that other thing. But right?
I do.
Yes. And you're showing the world that you know. And in
that sign is still there.
I love it. I'm going to write my own, except for where it says Kimmy, I'm going to write Lori.
Yeah. And you can expand that too. I mean, I expand that too now to you can do whatever job you want. Mm-hmm. You can take on whatever work you want. You can also say no as much as you like. Love, Kimmy.
Hallelujah.
So that's a good one. Mm-hmm. That's a really good one. Yeah. And that's an instinct too. Mm-hmm. Is, you get an email saying, hey, we really need your help, or can you volunteer for this or that thing? And I have to physically say no.
Mm-hmm.
And if the thing requires a response, then I'll do it. But
Absolutely. I love it. I love all of it. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
thank you, Lori. It's great to see you.
Yeah, we'll talk again soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.